I never fancied myself a detective, but that dusty afternoon in our ranch house outside Tucson, Arizona, changed everything. The sun was beating down through the windows like it always does in the Southwest, casting long shadows across the hardwood floors we'd sanded ourselves last summer. Jack had been gone for a week on what he called a cattle brokers convention up in Denver, leaving me with the quiet hum of the AC and the occasional howl of coyotes at night. I'd put off deep cleaning the living room for months. Ranch life keeps you busy with chores, but with him away, I finally rolled up my sleeves. That old prickly pear cactus of his sat in the corner like a sentinel, its spines catching the light. Jack babied that thing more than most folks do their dogs. He'd hauled it from his folks' place in New Mexico when we first shacked up, swearing it brought good luck. Survived droughts, floods, and my dumb mistakes, he'd say with that crooked grin. I figured it could use more sun, so I grabbed the heavy terracotta pot and gave it a yank. Stubborn as a mule, it wouldn't budge. I tugged harder, tilting it just a bit. Then, whoosh, the whole mess slipped, crashing down in a cloud of red desert soil and shattered clay shards. My heart jumped into my throat. "Jack's gonna tan my hide," I muttered, kneeling to scoop up the mess. As I brushed away the dirt, something caught my eye, a Ziploc bag taped tight and buried deep in the roots. What the heck? I pulled it free, my fingers trembling. Inside was a fat envelope, sealed like a time capsule. I set it aside at first, focusing on saving the cactus, propping it in a bucket with fresh water from the sink. But curiosity gnawed at me like a persistent itch. Sitting on the worn leather couch, I peeled open the bag. Crisp $100 bills tumbled out, stacked in neat bundles. Had to be 10 grand. Easy. My breath caught. This wasn't chump change. Tucked behind the cash was a Polaroid, edges worn soft from handling. I flipped it over. There was Jack, maybe mid-20s, his hair shorter, stubble lighter, standing in what looked like a dusty park with red rock formations in the back. Beside him, a woman with sun-kissed skin and wavy auburn hair, and a little girl clutching his hand. They all smiled like life was an endless rodeo. Who were they? Why hide this in a cactus pot he guarded like Fort Knox? The room spun a little. We'd been hitched 8 years. Built this life together on our small spread, raising a few horses, fixing fences, dreaming of kids someday. Jack was solid. The kind of man who fixed your truck without asking and held you through thunderstorms. But he was private, too, didn't like folks poking into his past. "What's done is done," he'd say if I pressed. Now, staring at that photo, I wondered if I'd married a stranger. I couldn't shake it. That night, sleep dodged me like a skittish colt. The girl's eyes haunted me. They had Jack's spark, that same mischievous glint. The woman looked kind, tired maybe, her arm looped through his. No names, no date on the back. Just silence. And the money, why stash it like that? Emergency fund? Blackmail? My mind raced through worst-case scenarios, each one twisting my gut tighter. By dawn, I decided I had to dig deeper. Jack was due back in 4 days. Plenty of time to uncover what he'd buried. First, I called his sister, Sarah. She lived up in Albuquerque, close enough for weekend visits. We'd bonded over margaritas and bad reality TV. "Hey, she answered, her voice bright as always. "Missin' that brother of mine yet?" "Like a hole in the head," I joked, but my tone fell flat. We chatted about her job at the hospital, the latest dust storm warnings. Then I eased in. "Sarah, you ever hear Jack mention an old flame? Someone from before me." A pause. Too long. Why you a skin? Just cleanin' and found some old stuff. Made me curious.
She sighed.
Jack's always been tight-lipped. There was this gal, Monica, back in his 20s. Things got messy. He doesn't talk about it. Messy how? Look.
Ink.
It's not my story.
But yeah.
It ended rough. He walked away. Started fresh. That's when he met you. My pulse quickened. Did they have a kid? Another pause. Yeah. A girl. But he hasn't seen Em in years. Ancient history.
Hun.
I thanked her, hung up, and stared at the wall.
A daughter.
Jack had a daughter. The photo burned in my mind. Why hide her? Shame? Fear? I paced the kitchen. The tile cool under my bare feet. Outside. The wind whipped through the mesquite trees, carrying the scent of creosote. This wasn't just a fling, it was a whole life he'd erased. By afternoon, I was in his closet, rifling through drawers. Nothing odd at first, flannel shirts, belts,
Socks.
but in the back, behind a stack of old jeans, my fingers brushed metal. A small key, plain and tarnished. No label. What did it unlock? I pocketed it. My hands clammy. The ranch felt too big. Too empty. I stepped out onto the porch, watching the sun dip toward the mountains. Jack had secrets.
All right.
And I was just getting started. The key weighed heavy in my pocket all night, like a guilty conscience I hadn't earned. Come morning, with coffee steaming in my mug, I headed to the barn out back. Jack stored his man cave stuff there, tools, old saddles, boxes of paperwork he swore he'd sort someday. Dust motes danced in the sunlight slanting through the cracks as I pushed aside hay bales. There it was, a weathered footlocker, padlocked shut. My breath hitched. I slid the key in, click. It opened. Inside, a fireproof safe, the kind folks use for deeds and wills in wildfire country. The key fit that too. Lifting the lid felt like cracking a tomb. Papers spilled out. Bank statements. A faded marriage license, Jack Thompson to Monica Rivera, dated 12 years back. My stomach dropped. He'd been married before.
No divorce papers, though.
Was he still hitched? Legally. In Arizona. That'd make our marriage bigamy, a felony. But wait. There was a dissolution decree tucked underneath, stamped by a New Mexico court. Relief mixed with betrayal. He'd ended it clean, but never breathed a word. Then the passports, one real, two fakes under aliases like Steve Granger. My mind reeled. Witness protection?
No.
Jack wasn't the type. Maybe debt dodging or something shadier. A handwritten note fluttered out. You promised you'd come back. She's asking about you.
No signature.
But the loops matched the woman's in the photo, Monica. And jewelry, 2 gold bands. Simple and scratched. Inscribed inside one. M and J, eternity in the desert. I slipped it on my finger. It fit loose. Tears blurred my vision. This wasn't just history. It was a ghost haunting our home. Why keep it locked away? Fear I'd leave? Or something worse? I gathered everything, locked the barn, and spread it on the kitchen table like evidence in a trial. The sun baked the earth outside, mirages shimmering on the horizon. Jack had built a life here with me, fencing the property, planting that vegetable garden, even talking about adopting a rescue horse. But now it all felt like a facade, brittle as dried clay. I needed air. Stepping out, I waved to our neighbor, old Mr. Harlan, tending his goats across the fence line. He's been ranching here since before I was born, eyes sharp as a hawk's. "Mornin', Emily," he called, tipping his Stetson. "Jack still chasing deals in Denver?"
Yeah, I lied.
Forcing a smile. "You known him long?" "Since he bought the place." "Good man. Works hard." "But," he trailed off, spitting tobacco juice. "But what?" He leaned on the post. "Few years back, sheriff's deputy came round to skin questions. Something 'bout a woman from his past. Didn't say much. But Jack looked spooked when I mentioned it later. My skin prickled. "What woman?"
Dunno.
But he clammed up tighter than a bank vault. Said it was nothin'. But I've seen that look, man runnin' from something. I nodded. Throat tight. "Ever see him with anyone else?" "Before me. Once. Early mornin'. Woman got out of his truck. Looked upset. Like she'd been cryin'.
No kid. Though.
He hustled her inside quick. The wind picked up, rattling the wind chimes. "Mister." Harlan patted my arm. "Trust your gut.
Girl.
Out here, secrets don't stay buried long." Back inside. The pieces fit too neatly. The photo, the money, maybe child support stash. The visits Sarah hinted at. But why the lies? I fired up Jack's old desktop in the den. Password was our wedding year plus cactus. Emails popped up, routine stuff. But one chain caught my eye. Flight confirmations to Albuquerque. Not Denver. He'd been flying south. Not north. Map history showed pins in a quiet suburb near a school. My heart sank. The girl, Lily. Sarah had slipped her name? He was seeing her. A locked file labeled MR, Monica Rivera. I couldn't crack it, but it screamed guilt. I shut down the computer.
Head pounding.
Jack wasn't just hiding a past, he was living it parallel to ours. Trips disguised as business. Cash for emergencies. Passports for escape. But from what?
Me?
Or his regrets. That evening, as the sun set in a blaze of orange over the saguaros, I sat on the porch swing, the note in hand. "She's asking about you." A child wondering about her dad. My anger softened to ache. What if he'd been too scared to confess? Young.
Dumb. Panicked?
Still. The deception stung like a scorpion. Jack was due home tomorrow. Confrontation loomed like a storm cloud. But deep down, amid the hurt, a flicker of empathy stirred. Maybe this wasn't just betrayal. Maybe it was a cry for redemption. Jack's truck rumbled up the gravel drive just past noon, dust kicking up like a mini tornado. I stood by the window, arms crossed, watching him unload his duffel. My setup waited on the table. The envelope. Photo. Passports. Rings. Note. All laid out like a prosecutor's exhibit.
No hiding now.
The door creaked open.
Ain't.
"Honey, I'm home." His voice boomed cheerful, oblivious. Footsteps echoed, then stopped dead in the kitchen doorway. I turned, meeting his eyes, wide, then narrowing in shock. "What's all this?" he whispered, dropping his bag. "Sit," I said, voice steady as steel. He did. Slowly, like a man facing the gallows. Sweat beaded on his forehead despite the AC. "How'd you find the cactus?" "I moved it. Pot broke. Secrets spilled out literal-like." He rubbed his temples, exhaling long. "I can explain." "Then do." "The truth."
Jack.
"All of it." He stared at the photo, fingers tracing the edges. "Her name's Monica. We met young. In Albuquerque. Got hitched too fast, eloped in Vegas. Thought we were invincible. Then Lily came along. I was 24. Scared spitless. Couldn't handle the responsibility. Bills piled up. Arguments escalated. I bailed. You left them? My voice cracked. He nodded, shame etching his face. Worst mistake of my life. Told myself I'd come back when I got my head straight. But time slipped away. Monica filed for divorce clean.
No contest.
I sent child support anonymously through a lawyer. Stashed cash in case she needed more. The passports. Dumb panic. Thought if things got ugly in court, I'd skip town. Never used them. Just relics of a coward. And the trips? Albuquerque. Not Denver. His shoulders slumped. Monica reached out last year. Lily's 13 now. Asking questions. Wants to know her dad. I've been visiting. Trying to make amends. Didn't know how to tell you. Afraid you'd see me as a monster. Walk out. Tears welled in my eyes. You let me believe we were building something real.
Jack.
8 years. And I'm the last to know you have a daughter? I know. I was wrong. Every lie ate at me. But seeing Lily, she's got my laugh.
Eminencia.
Smart as a whip. Loves horses like you. Monica's remarried.
Happy.
This ain't about rekindling, it's about being a father. Late as it is. I paced, the floorboards creaking under my boots. Outside. A roadrunner darted across the yard. Why hide it in the cactus? Why not trust me? That plant. It was the first thing I bought after leaving. Symbol of survival. I guess. Kept the stuff close as a reminder not to screw up again. But I did anyway. By not telling you. Silence stretched, thick as molasses. My mind churned, anger at the deceit, but pity for the scared kid he'd been. Legally, he'd done right, divorce finalized.
Support paid. No crimes.
Just moral failings. And that note, she's asking about you. A girl's longing for her dad. My own father had split when I was 10. I knew that void. I need time, I said finally. Go stay at the motel in town tonight. He nodded, eyes pleading. I love you.
Eminencia.
More than anything. Prove it, I whispered as he left. Alone, I wandered the ranch, feeding the horses, letting the sunset wash over me. The anger ebbed, replaced by a hollow ache. What if forgiveness was the path? Not for him, but for all of us, me, Jack, Lily. A light breeze carried the scent of blooming yucca. Maybe secrets buried deep could bloom into something healing, if we let them. The next day dawned clear, the kind of Arizona blue that makes you believe in fresh starts. I texted Jack, come home. We talk. He arrived hat in hand, looking like he'd aged a decade overnight. We sat on the porch, coffee in hand. No more lies, I started. Tell me about Lily. His face lit.
Tentative.
She's feisty. Plays soccer. Wants to be a vet. Monica's good to her, stable home. Stepdad's a teacher. I nodded. I want to meet them. If we're fixing this, it's together.
Surprise flickered.
You sure?
Yeah.
But therapy.
Jack.
Couples counseling. And you tell your family, Sarah already suspects. He agreed. Relief flooding his eyes. We talked hours, unpacking the past. His abandonment stemmed from his own dad's absence, cycle of fear. Mine from trust issues. By dusk, a fragile bridge formed. Weeks later, we drove to Albuquerque. Monica greeted us wary but warm. A Southwest beauty with kind eyes. Lily bounded out, freckled and energetic. Your dad's wife, she asked, hugging me unexpected. Emily, I said, hugging back. Heard you like horses. Her grin mirrored Jack's. We spent the day at a nearby ranch, riding trails, sharing stories. No instant family, but seeds planted. Back home, the cactus thrived in its new pot.
No secrets beneath.
Life didn't snap back like a rubber band after that trip. Ranch chores waited, fences to mend, water troughs to fill, but now with an undercurrent of change. Jack and I started seeing a counselor in Tucson, a no-nonsense woman named Dr. Reyes who specialized in family drama. Secrets are like termites, she said in our first session. They eat away at the foundation till it crumbles. Jack nodded, squeezing my hand. We unpacked his fears, my hurts, layer by layer. He opened up more, how leaving Monica haunted him. Nightmares of Lily crying. I stashed that cash thinking it'd make up for it, he admitted. But money ain't love. Legally. We reviewed everything. His lawyer confirmed the divorce was ironclad. Support up to date. No loose ends. Just emotional ones. Lily texted Jack daily now, funny memes, school updates. Monica and I chatted too, swapping recipes, building tentative trust. He was young and stupid, she said over the phone one evening. But he's trying now. That's something. One weekend,
They visited our ranch.
Lily's eyes widened at the horses. Can I ride one? We saddled up old Bucky, gentle as a lamb. Jack guided her, his voice patient,
Proud.
watching them. My heart swelled, not jealousy, but hope. Monica and I sat on the porch.
Sipping said there.
Thanks for giving him a chance, she said. It's for her, I replied. Kids deserve whole hearts. That night, around the fire pit, stars blanketing the sky like diamonds on black velvet, we shared stories. Lily roasted marshmallows, giggling at Jack's tall tales of cowboy adventures. The air smelled of smoke and sage. For the first time, the pieces felt whole, not perfect, but mending. But healing ain't linear. One stormy afternoon, doubts crept back. Rain pounded the tin roof as I stared at the photo, now framed on the mantel as a reminder. What if he slips again? I whispered to the empty room. Jack found me there, wrapped his arms around me. I won't. You've shown me what real partnership is. We rebuilt slowly, date nights under the stars, honest talks over breakfast burritos. He donated the stashed cash to a local family shelter, anonymous, but meaningful. Paying it forward, he said. Months passed. Lily's birthday rolled around. We flew her out for a weekend. She and I baked a cake, flour everywhere, laughing till our sides hurt. Jack watched, eyes misty. This is what I missed, he murmured later. But I won't miss more. The lesson settled gentle. Forgiveness ain't forgetting, it's choosing growth over grudges. Out west, where the land's harsh but resilient, we learned families ain't born perfect, they're forged through fire. As summer faded, we hosted a small barbecue. Sarah, Mr. Harlan, Monica's family. Laughter echoed across the yard. Kids chasing fireflies. Jack pulled me aside. Thank you,
Eminencia.
for seeing the man I could be. I kissed him. We're in this together now. No more pots to break. The cactus stood tall in the corner, spines gleaming. No longer a guardian of secrets, but a witness to redemption. In those quiet moments, doubts still whispered. But each day, Jack proved himself, helping with chores without asking, sharing old photos from his youth, even joining a support group for absent parents. I owe it to Lily, he'd say. And to me. One crisp fall day, we hiked the nearby canyons, red rocks towering like ancient guardians. "Remember when we first met?" he asked, hand in mine. "At that rodeo in Phoenix. You spilled your beer on my boots." He chuckled. "Best mistake ever." We paused at an overlook, wind tousling our hair. "I almost lost this," he said softly. "But you didn't." We choose each other every day. Back home, Lily's drawings decorated the fridge, horses,
Cacti.
us as a family. The passports? Shredded. Legally disposed. The rings? Returned to Monica. Closing that chapter. The humane truth hit. People mess up. Big time. But with accountability and love, redemption's possible. It's the Western way, tough, but forgiving. Winter brought chill winds to the ranch, but warmth inside grew. Jack and I volunteered at the local community center, helping families in tough spots. "Gives perspective," he said, stacking food boxes. Lily joined us on video calls, her face lighting up as we planned her summer visit. One evening, snow dusting the cacti like powdered sugar, a rare sight in Tucson, we sat by the fire. "I've been thinking," Jack said, "about adopting, maybe, or fostering." My heart fluttered. Together?
Yeah.
Build our family right. We talked deep into the night, dreams weaving with realities.
Noruz.
But hope bloomed. Spring arrived with wildflowers carpeting the desert. Monica invited us to Lily's soccer game. Watching her score, Jack cheering loudest, I felt complete. Afterward, hugs all around. "You're like a bonus mom," Lily whispered. Back on the ranch, life flowed steady. Morning coffee on the porch. Watching sunrises paint the sky. The broken pot? Repurposed as a planter for herbs. Symbolic, turning mess into growth. The light lesson lingered. Open hearts heal hidden wounds. Communication trumps concealment. In the vast West, where horizons stretch endless, second chances are as wide as the sky. Years later, looking back, that shattered pot wasn't destruction, it was revelation. It forced truth, fostering forgiveness. Jack became the dad Lily needed, the husband I deserved. And me, stronger, wiser. Our story ain't a fairy tale, but it's real, humane. And that's enough. As time wore on, the integration deepened. Lily spent summers with us, learning to ride, helping with chores. "This place is magic," she'd say, eyes wide at the stars. Jack taught her guitar by the campfire, old country tunes echoing. Challenges came, arguments over schedules, old resentments surfacing in therapy. But we faced them head-on. "No more running," Jack vowed. Monica and I became friends.
Sharing parenting tips over Zoom.
Her husband, a kind soul, welcomed Jack's role. "Family's what you make it," he said. One milestone, Lily's high school graduation. We all gathered, blended. Beautiful. Jack's speech choked him up. "I missed the start, but I'll be there for the rest." Back home, we expanded the ranch, adding a guest cabin for visits. The cactus thrived, a reminder of resilience. The humane arc, betrayal births pain, but empathy births bonds. Lesson light, speak your truths early, they free you. In quiet reflections, I marveled at the journey, from suspicion to solidarity. The West's rugged spirit mirrored ours, enduring, evolving.
No regrets.
Just gratitude for the pot that broke, and the hearts that mended.